Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is the third part of the Centric Burn blog series, and we're going to get right into it without further ado. Of course, if you have not read through episodes 1 and 2 or viewed my reading of those two sections, I highly recommend going back and reading those or watching those now before watching this. But we're going to get right into it. The Burn Explained, a Centric blog trilogy. This is part 3 or episode 3, Return of the Burn. Ready for our final episode to learn more about the burn, the deflationary supply, protocol, scarcity, consensus. Join us for part 3 of the Burn trilogy. And we're going to continue right there. Welcome back. As promised, we've got a nice comfortable tree stump for you over here by the bonfire. So take a load off, help yourself to your favorite beverage, and join in the jubilant Ewoks as they sing and dance Glowa. This is a special day. You've reached the third and final installment of the Burn trilogy. We recommend you jump back to episode 1 and episode 2 if you haven't read or viewed them yet. Again, your diligence in applying your attention and intelligence to today's lesson will take you over the line and give you something worth celebrating. Let's get right into it. Sorry to burst your balloon. Centric Rise CNR is a deflationary cryptocurrency. When you hear the word deflate, you might think of air getting out of a balloon or a tire. While it might conjure colorful wind-sucking images, they aren't the most useful for understanding deflation in a financial context. And it gets all the more confusing when we think of the ballooning nature of CNR increasing in price. Inflate? Deflate? Huh? Exhale? The deflation of CNR has nothing to do with CNR tokens losing either air or value. It's the total supply of CNR that's deflating over time. Forget about slashed tires and limp balloons. When you hear deflation, think of a reducing or shrinking supply. It's like we started with a fixed number of cookies in the cookie jar, 1 billion to be exact. And every hour, we remove a few cookies and set them on fire. It breaks my snacky heart. The deflation or reduction, again, deflation, potato, or reduction of the CNR supply takes place, of course, via the burn mechanism of the Centric Protocol. Every hour, as persnickety peg works overtime to wrangle the protocol into balance, she scoops up a batch of CNR cookies from the quarantine jar and torches them to a crisp. Every time that happens, the supply of CNR gets smaller and smaller. At the time of this writing, the protocol burns around 200,000 CNR every day. That's a lot of cookies. Waiting to exhale. First, let's agree on a basic principle of economics. The more plentiful something is, the less people value it. Even if it's something super valuable like oxygen. Here on the planet Earth, oxygen is so plentiful that we take it for granted. Unless we are practicing holding our breath, we can hardly imagine oxygen scarcity. There's just so much oxygen available, enough for everyone, free, plentiful, and taken for granted. Except by yoga teachers who go too far with the whole now breathe thing. Go ahead anyway and take a deep breath. Relish that 100% free oxygen. Ain't it great to live on planet Earth? A record offer. On the flip side, consider the Beatles Collection, a limited release box set containing 14 vinyl record albums. Capitol Records released 3,000 individually numbered units of the American version of this box set in 1978. I don't know how much the box set sold for back in 1978, but I can imagine they weren't exactly giving them away. The Beatles were and remain incredibly popular. In a market where music lovers flock to purchase anything the Beatles released, the limited supply only increased the demand. Oh, to be one of the lucky 3,000 people who bought the original box set? Fast forward to today. Imagine you had one of those original editions. Do you think it would be worth more today than it sold for back in 1978? No doubt. In fact, there's an offer on eBay right now for $3,999. Of course, an individual seller's offer price doesn't necessarily reflect the market value of an item. But I digress. If Capitol had sold millions of these box sets, we can assume there would be more copies in circulation today. As a result, the average asking price would be lower. Enough with Beatlemania. Let's turn back to Centric. As the burn decreases the total supply of CNR each hour, CNR becomes more scarce. The increased scarcity makes CNR more valuable to those who hold it and more attractive to those considering it as an investment. This leads to another reason the burn is a good thing. Can we all just agree? The faster CNR burns, the faster we'll get to protocol consensus. Again, I'll include the protocol consensus video in the description notes. This is the point at which the market agrees on the value of CNR, and every unit of CNR is worth the full face value of its current protocol price. Again, protocol consensus, the full face value of CNR will be realized. When we reach protocol consensus, CNS will have reached and stabilized at $1 US. The consensus points to the agreement on the market price of Centric swap as expressed in the protocol. CNR's value will reflect the protocol value based on the current price block. PEG will be very pleased, as will all the holders of CNR around the world. The dwindling supply of CNR hurdles us toward protocol consensus. As the supply gets smaller, there is less CNR to spread around. The dwindling supply of CNR will meet the increasing market demand for CNR. As great as the Beatles box set might be, imagine having to offload 1 billion of them. Imagine hauling those around in the trunk of your car. That's a lot of flea markets. Imagine constantly enduring comments like, oh no, here comes that Beatles guy again, trying to sell me his dusty records. Records? How do you even play those things? Centric began with 1 billion CNR tokens, and of that supply, over 86.5 million CNR have already been burned. And at the time of the shooting of this video, we've burned over 100 million CNR tokens. That's over 1/10 of the supply. As we mentioned at the outset, the protocol currently burns in the ballpark of 200,000 CNR per day. You can check the current 24-hour burn rate on the Centric Explorer at explorer.centric.com. Look for the value listed under burned 24H or burned 24-hour. Again, that's explorer.centric.com. There are a couple of important implications of the daily burn. It's high time we discuss them. We've spoken a lot of the burning. We've discussed the work of PEG and our insistence on enforcing the protocol with an iron fist. Are you appreciating why it's all so important? If you still need some help connecting the dots, this will help. When investors celebrate CNR burn, it's because every hour of every day, we move closer and closer to inevitable protocol consensus. Let me read that again. When investors celebrate the burn or celebrate burn, it's because every hour of every day moves us closer and closer to inevitable protocol consensus. To Centric investors, all that burning smells like money. the path to protocol consensus. Of course, while the burn is an incredibly important factor of Centric, it isn't the only way we reach protocol consensus. What else will bring us there? Wallets. In June of 2021, we surpassed 30,000 Centric web wallets. This does not include the many investors holding Centric in external wallets. As of the time of the shooting of this video, we were north of 40,000 wallets and growing daily. New wallets are created every day as investors discover the project and decide to stake their claim in the future Centric economy. Many of these new investors learn about the project from existing Centric investors who want to share the amazing opportunity with their friends, family, and colleagues. Others might learn about Centric from our social media outreach and marketing efforts. Partnerships. Every new partnership we land introduces Centric to a whole new set of eyeballs. This also adds to the wallets and adds to the demand for CNS on the exchanges. As surge in demand leads to an increase in the price of CNS. Every investor has different goals, of course, different financial situations, and different entry and exit points. As prices of both CNS and CNR grow, some investors will decide to off-ramp. They'll convert their CNR to CNS and sell on the exchanges, allowing new investors to come in and or existing investors to accumulate. Emerging use cases for CNR and CNS. New partnerships also increase demand as they lead to new uses for CNR and CNS, new ways to invest or spend CNR and CNS. All of this leads to an increase in the aggregate valuing of Centric tokens. New use cases such as SendPay will offer additional utility or usefulness for Centric, as businesses of all kinds will be able to accept CNR as a payment for goods and services. When you understand the vision of the Centric economy and grasp all the parts working together, it's a beautiful kaleidoscope. If we were to leave the entire job of getting to protocol consensus in the hands of PEG and the protocol, we'd eventually get there. And it would get done and dusted. It's how the protocol was designed. However, other efforts of the Centric team and community, increasing wallets, marketing, partnerships, use cases, utility, will get us there even quicker. Spreading the word among your friends, family, colleagues, and social media can help too. You've made it. Congratulations on passing initiation. You've made it through this epic trilogy. You've walked across the scorching hot coals of all 3 episodes. You've completed the hero's journey. You've faced robots, counted apples and bananas, crossed paths with a maniacal accountant named Peg, suffered a flat tire, and shopped for high-priced Beatles records on eBay. Moreover, you've endured pop culture references, puns, wordplay, and other head shakers, and without getting burned, and hopefully without any permanent scars. How will life be different for you moving forward? Consider the next time you check out the Centric Explorer. Again, explorer.centric.com. Or read a discussion about the burn on our Telegram, #BurnTrilogy. Or come across a post on social media celebrating the latest CNR burn milestone. It will no longer seem like a foreign language. No, for you, the mystery is decoded. You can now raise your own convicted voice to the cheering chorus. If the Ewoks left you wanting more, playing this triumphant tune from Ellie Goulding, we're going to let it burn, 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 burn. Crank up the volume and let it rip as you read through the rest of the post. Imagine yourself sitting in a darkened theater half stunned after a mind-blown finale, watching the credits roll. What's next? If you haven't read the Centric white paper, or if it's been a while, give it a read. It comes alive for you in new ways. Centric.com/whitepaper. What will you do with your newly acquired superpower? As Uncle Ben counseled his nephew Peter Parker, with great power comes great responsibility. Now that you've got the burn, we invite you to welcome others to the journey. The next time you come across someone puzzling over the burn, share this epic blog trilogy with them. Give them the gift that keeps on burning. Our ears are burning, and we'd love to hear about your experience of the Burn trilogy. What did you learn? What did you find most helpful? And where would you still like further clarification? Please continue the discussion on Telegram or Twitter, #BurnTrilogy. The end. Don't forget, Centric, burning tokens every hour until Centric swap CNS reaches $1. Have a good day.